Lights, camera, angels.
I was doing the guy from iCarly.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Anyways,
Are you ready?
that's Zoe 101.
I know, but like in my heart, they're so closely linked together. Welcome to episode 64 of Two Girls Chirping. I'm Lauren.
I'm Abby.
I am not going to have to remediate. I made a mid-B on my test and kept an A in the class, so twerks for that.
So,
And 7 brew, which is most important.
yes, we do have 7. It's been a long time since we've had 7 brew while
It's
we
been
recorded,
so
actually.
long. So long. Because normally neither one of us are willing to go get it.
Mm-mm.
So that's also why we got our Nespresso holiday pods, so that we could have a little bit of whimsy when we record. And yes, I'm aware that's not how you biblically twerk, but I'm trying to keep it PG, okay?
Should I make it funny and like fake blur it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. That would be hilarious.
Ha ha ha. Oh my gosh. Speaking of hilarious, Amelia DM'd us like 5 seconds ago.
Oh my God, speaking of hilarious, I'll go after you then. If I can keep that train of thought.
She said, Lauren saying, why would a man be there? When our Alexa went off is so funny. And she said, it's a new vocal stem unlocked.
Oh my gosh, I love her.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Amelia, one of your TikToks came across my personal For You page.
Damn,
so
I wish
gave
that
it a
would happen to
a
me.
like, but your it was a Gracie Abrams one. What was it? I Told You Things? No, That's So True. That song.
God, I love Gracie Abrams. She just like, that's one of my favorite Nepo babies.
Yeah.
But also, to circle back to what is funny, Abby showed me the memes that Randy created for me, and I laughed so
The GIFs.
freaking hard. The GIFs. Sorry, I'm old. I'm a boomer over here.
From the vampire episode.
Oh my God, so freaking funny. So funny.
They-
I love it. I'm like,
yeah.
is it narcissistic to use those, you know, for like me?
I think it'd be really funny if one of your coworkers sent you something and you responded with a GIF of yourself.
Oh my God, that would be so iconic. That would absolutely send them. Considering only 4 of my coworkers know, but that's because those are my friends.
Yeah.
And that's also because our stuff popped up on their page, which is how they found out.
I also have one note. Well,
Note
I
it.
had 2 notes, but the first one was Amelia. The second one, look,
I'm looking.
Lauren has made it known to me that I have been doing a lot of there's no good men in the NHL. So I've decided to make a short list of the good men to remind myself.
I think you need it.
Sidney Crosby.
He's
Obvious.
amazing. Amazing human, I fear.
Yeah. Rasmus Dahlin, Jacob Slavin, Nico Hischier,
Jeremy Swayman.
Roman Yossi, and then Travis Dermott, which I actually just found out who this is. Apparently, back at the beginning of the 2023-24 season, the NHL banned Pride tape. And
Fucking lame, because I saw Will Mack taping their sticks up to it last year.
well, he was the first player that just did it anyways.
Period.
And was like, what are they going to do, find me?
Literally. What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
You're king, as far as I know.
The only major sport that doesn't have an openly gay player. Fucking lame. Fucking behind the times, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So scared. I would hold your masculinity, but it's too fragile. My little weak palm couldn't.
Okay. This is going to be part 2, episode 2 of our unknown stories.
Sure.
Look, heads up. This first one is a lot. So skip to the second or third one if you want something lighter.
It doesn't matter what you say to me, because Max not winning the championship on Sunday has literally pissed me off so much. I've barely been able to be on TikTok because anything I see related to, I just scroll past. I'm not ready to process that emotion yet.
That's fair. That's very fair.
So I can basically handle anything.
Well, this one is titled Murder for Hire, the story of Mike Danton and David Frost.
Have you ever thought about how you would murder someone? Because I've given it considerable thought. No? Never once? You've never once thought about how you could realistically get away with it.
It's just the way. I mean, yeah. Once upon a time, there was that one lot that they were supposed to build that fire station on that was just like freaking empty.
Yeah.
But I've never I wouldn't do well in prison, and I wouldn't do well with the guilt of murdering someone unless it's like a my life or your life situation.
That does kind of hold you back.
That's a crazy.
Is it? You just said murder for hire. Like, I know exactly how I would murder someone.
Could have seen from my perspective the way you just said. Have you ever thought about how you would murder someone? Because I've given it considerable thought.
I mean, I've thought about it from various angles, you know, like depending on the size of the attacker. And then, actually, those are thoughts I should keep inside. I'm going to say it. Have you ever thought about, like, how you could torture someone? Like, if a man just, like, really did you wrong, like in that show we watched, and how he kidnapped him and just kept him and tortured him? Have you ever given that any thought? No? Okay.
Lauren, there are some things that maybe we shouldn't put out there on the internet.
I'm just saying, I've seen some pretty creative ways to get away with it on that Netflix show we watched. What is it? The Beast in Me.
Yeah.
Had me thinking.
He kind
of was smart.
That show's like a 6 out of 10.
The last 3 episodes, great. The first like 5, I'm like, God.
Yeah.
But as soon
Anywho, this is actually quite a sad story. I mean, not necessarily sad, just like disappointing sad. Like, there's so many instances that this guy could have been locked up, and what do you know, the league protects their own.
Yeah, I was listening to Morbid this morning.
Yeah,
similar vibe.
Yeah, but it's also like the story is normally glazed over the murder for hire part, but then and that's all that I was going to talk about. But then I was like, they have a weird ass relationship, and I dug farther, and it turns out there's a lot of other stuff that's just like glazed over.
Is their last name Murdoch?
No. No.
Crazy.
But the guy does look like a fucking creep. Anywho,
love that.
Let's get to know who these 2 people are. Michael Sage Danton, aka Mike Danton.
Your middle name is Sage, and you're bad.
aka Mike Jefferson. I don't necessarily. I'm trying to think of how to prepare you, because you've already said, like, he's a bad person. Just go into it, and I'm just going to give you the facts.
I mean, that's what I'm currently doing.
He goes by Mike Jefferson, Mike Danton. He jumps around. There's also David Frost, also goes by Jim McCauley. We'll talk more about that at the end. So, like, they've all got aliases.
That's so stupid.
Which already is, like...
I mean, my alias would be Rose Davis. At least it sounds cute, you know? Those are such basic ass aliases.
How long have you had this alias in your back pocket?
I just thought of it.
Oh.
I mean, I would always be either like a Rory or a Rose or something like that.
Interesting.
And then just like a basic name, so it's harder to find.
Fair. Well, Mike is what I'm going to call him.
Sure.
For all of this, because otherwise it'd get too confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Mike was born in Brampton, Ontario. A Libra.
Which is...
Last episode I called him a Libra. He's not, but this guy is.
Verified.
Brampton is important to remember. In his junior hockey days, he actually went by his government name, Mike Jefferson. That's what he was born with, Michael Sage Jefferson. And he was drafted in 2000 to the New Jersey Devils. During his time with the Devils is when he changed his last name from Jefferson to Danton. He was estranged from his family. We'll get more into that later. But he said he admitted that he adopted the surname Danton from the name of a 13-year-old boy on David Frost's hockey camp because the name sounded cool.
That's so fucking creepy. Immediately no.
Yeah.
Immediately straight to jail. You should actually have no conversation with anyone under the age of consent. Yeah. Ever.
The name change was also heavily influenced by David Frost, who also kind of heavily influenced Mike, to estrange himself from his family.
So he groomed him, and then he... Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what it's giving.
I'm picking up on that vibe.
Frost also stated that the Jefferson family lived in squalor and abused alcohol and drugs, and that Mike should separate himself from his family.
And is that true?
They didn't have a lot of money. That is true. And their dad was arrested at one point for alcohol abuse.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, it's Canada, like it gets cold up there. And when you're poor, at least in this country, when you're poor, what's cheap? Drugs and booze.
Yeah.
And Fritos.
And Fritos.
Anything by the Fritos company.
So David Frost, also known as Jim McCauley. If you ever see a Jim McCauley, fuck that guy.
Hit him with your car.
Hit him with your car. David Frost was a former junior hockey coach. He got his start on a Pee-wee team, the Toronto Young Nationals, coaching Mike Jefferson, and Shelton Keefe was on that team.
Oh my God.
Crazy enough.
I just think that, I'm so sorry. I'm still processing the fact that he changed his name to the same last name as a 13-year-old boy that was on one of the teams he coached. And I just think if I was his teammate and I heard that, I would have called the police and been like, put him on a watch list. That's immediately no. He shouldn't be allowed to talk to anyone. That's weird shit.
It is very weird shit.
911.
There's a lot. You'll see it once I talk more about him. But there's a lot of like mind control to it as well.
Manipulation. Yeah.
Manipulation. Yeah. So David Frost got to start coaching a Pee-wee team, Toronto Young Nationals. He was fired after allegedly, I'm going to use the word alleged a lot in this, but it's backed by some trustworthy sources. It's just not proven in court, which doesn't mean
that
much.
just means that he has money and influence and that they don't want to be embarrassed as a league. That's all that means to me.
He was fired after allegedly forging the general manager's signature. A bit upset about the firing, he took his Brampton boys, a group of boys that he had coached, but also like kind of had loyalties to him weirdly.
Boys he groomed. Got it.
Yeah. Boys he groomed. The Brampton boys followed him to the Quint Hawks.
Quint's Hawks?
Quint.
Quint.
Quinte.
Okay.
The Quint Hawks. Quint.
No, it's Quint. I was just
being
funny so that I can remember the names.
Yeah. And he was actually inevitably fired from the Hawks for pleading guilty in a case where he punched a 21-year-old player in the face. He pled guilty to that.
Forging the check, that's not super crazy that the boys followed him because plenty of players follow their favorite coach, especially when you're young and you're trying to get developed. But like assault, if I'm a parent, I'm thinking it's fucking weird. I'm thinking, that's not someone that I want to have contact with my minor.
Yeah, at this point too, Mike was pretty estranged from his family at this point. He hadn't changed his name to Jefferson, but like he was already quite estranged. His Brampton boys, it was 4 players. Mike was one of them, but the rest of them kind of stay unnamed for the most part. Had very bad reputations in the minor leagues as well, playing dirty and just like being disrespectful to coaches, refs, other players. And they were actually all traded at one point to the same team, which I didn't write down, strictly because Frost, who did not work for this team, caused so many problems within the organization. At this point, after he pled guilty to assaulting the 21-year-old player, punching him in the face, he was banned from all junior hockey.
Yeah, I mean, that is actually like a rare win.
Isn't that kind of like, wow.
Wow. So like,
the bare minimum.
You can sexually assault them, but if you physically assault them, you're done.
And he punched the guy in the face in like a locker room too, like in a very public setting. But
he really released his inhibitions, and I wish he would have just thrown himself off a cliff.
Yeah, period. That actually would have saved a lot of us a lot of trouble. Overall, he had a very weird, possessive attitude about his Brampton boys and
me with the Devils.
And he would like make people's lives living hell that didn't perfectly align with what Frost wanted for them.
Men, when you comment about anything related to women in sports.
Yeah. None of them did have any success in the NHL. Some of them played, but they weren't like
fucking losers.
Gosh. Yeah. They didn't
Sorry, if you're one of the 4 and you're actually an innocent one, I apologize.
I go back and forth on this because I don't know if I can blame them because they're groomed. Like, I go back and forth.
At that age, you cannot. When they're grown with a fully developed frontal lobe, yes. You feel bad for the kid. You don't feel bad for the adult.
Yeah, manipulation, though, goes
morbid
so far. But that's fair. Oh, David Frost was also an NHL player agent. He kind of got into being a player agent after he was banned from junior hockey because he had a good friend that worked on the board of directors.
So fucking stupid.
Right? So he's most notably known for representing Mike Jefferson, a.k.a. Mike Danton, along with the other Brampton boys.
Said, well, you assaulted children, but you know who's going to make it more difficult for you to assault them? Adults.
Yeah.
Not impossible, but harder.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Mike made his NHL debut 2000-2001 season playing 2 games, followed by 17 games with the Devils the next season. It's also important to point out David Frost had so much control over his NHL career, he couldn't even take interviews if he didn't have Frost's permission to do so.
That's like Franco's manager. He's terrifying.
Yeah. And in a lot of the questions, Mike had to allegedly consult Frost on how to answer everything.
Like what?
Like, I don't know. It's weird as hell.
That's
so he just
so toxic.
Yeah, so he just didn't do very many interviews. And in 2003, after feuding with the Devils head coach at the time, Lou Lamoriello, actually, crazily enough,
I know that name.
Yeah, Mike was suspended and then traded to the Blues.
People get sent to the Blues so much. I was like,
do.
Get out of my face.
Get out of here. And now this is where the story normally picks up for them. April 2004, the St. Louis Blues were eliminated from the playoffs in round 1, going down 4 games to 1 to the Sharks.
Hey! It'd be a shame if that happened again.
2 days after elimination, Mike is arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit murder.
That's so stupid.
On July 16th, 2004, he pleaded guilty to attempting to hire a hitman who was actually a police dispatcher to murder David Frost. He was subsequently sentenced to 7.5 years in federal prison. To this day, David Frost denies that he was the actual target. And he says that Mike was delusional because of abusive behavior in his childhood, and that his estranged father, Steve Jefferson, was actually the target. Now, the FBI, as well as the undercover cop, both identified David Frost as the man whose picture he was shown.
That's very interesting.
So David Frost, like, that's not me.
He definitely was trying to kill his dad, but which one?
True.
Dang. I mean, if you want something done like that, I feel like it's your obligation, if you're a dumbass like that, to just try it yourself. Like,
yeah.
I have never hired someone for murder.
Promise?
I would never. I can handle that in business. I'll handle that in house if need be, and it would be self-defense if it ever came to it. I just think that the audacity to think that you can take someone's life is just like the most narcissistic thing. Like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
If you want to take a life so bad.
I am so shaky right now. I don't know if you can see. Did you eat? Yeah, I ate right before we recorded. I'm just so shaky. Yeah, it's interesting. I also think it's like, what are the freaking odds that you go to hire a hitman and it's a cop?
I mean, 100% if you're a dumbass.
That's fair. Also,
I mean, how do you even hire a hitman? People always say the dark internet, but like, what do you type in, like, dark internet? Like
the dark web. How do you
even like have connections? But I guess we're also the South, so we don't really have like a strong mafia history. Just racist.
You remember when you lived in that apartment complex that the mob committed a mass murder in?
That wasn't the mob. That was the cartel. And yes, they did torture and kill a couple people. And you know what? That rent was cheap.
That rent was cheap.
And I didn't die.
Yeah. That was the same apartment, though, that men would hide in your bushes and that one pulled up trying to look in your windows.
And you know what? I was on very, very good terms with the Shelby County sheriffs. And those men knew that I stayed strapped.
And your car was in a hit and run twice.
And you know what I still did? I still ran at night. Because I'm not going to be made scared of a man.
Anywho. Lore drop.
Yep.
Some articles use this little bit to show like, oh, there's no bad blood between Jefferson and Frost, so they must still have a healthy relationship.
They never
it
ever
must
did.
have been Mike's father, who was actually the target, because in 2007, David Frost was charged with credit card fraud for using Mike Jefferson's credit card to get gas while Mike was still in prison.
It's just like two bumbling idiots.
I know, right? And David Frost was on parole at this point for something massive that we're going to discuss as well.
Okay. Major plot point.
Yeah. He said, what was this?
Getting
this
gas?
is just a quote. Yeah. Like $90 of gas, too.
$90? What was he driving? Well, the housing market collapsed in 2008, so inflation was actually quite bad at that time, I hear. Allegedly. I don't know. I was like 9, trying to be a competitive gymnast.
Literally.
Not trying, was.
Yeah, period. Oh.
Material girl.
Frost said that he still handles his former clients' day-to-day affairs and finances.
Why?
So, I know, right? And so while Mike was imprisoned, he had his permission to use his credit cards. And it's just a misunderstanding. And then...
kind of like... the intended target was a misunderstanding. Yeah. He said he wasn't trying to kill me because then I can't use his credit cards. And I got to use some credit cards.
Yeah. Well, then Mike, during his hearing, Mike actually told the court, he was like, yeah, he could use my credit cards. That's fine.
My guy.
Yeah.
I know that they are a therapist nightmare.
Yeah. That's where most articles stop.
Is that where most
articles stop?
What was that voice you did in the last episode when you were making fun of?
No, because I'm employee.
It was so funny. I watched it this morning because I'm in the top 1% of our listeners.
This is pre-recorded, by the way.
Surprise! We'll be in Vancouver.
Yeah.
You know, girls gotta eat.
Girls gotta eat. Most articles stop there, and they're like, oh, yeah, the hitman was intended for Steve Jefferson, and it's not David Frost. But I was like, that's shady as hell. Like, well, literally what is going on? Because why would he murder him and then allow him to use his credit cards? Why would the FBI...
Maybe it was like an IOU. Like, I tried to kill you. You can use my credit cards.
Well, but the FBI also identified David Frost as the intended victim, not Steve Jefferson.
Yeah, but this was only like 6 years after 9/11, and they had gotten themselves into a big old mess in the Middle East. They had bigger concerns than a little NHL wannabe star.
I mean, there's different divisions of the FBI, Lauren.
I know. In The Beast in Me, we had the shittiest FBI portrayals I've ever seen in my life.
What the hell was that?
I've done better police work than that.
Knocking on the back door, drunk,
wasted
in the middle of the night,
in a storm.
A+ work, guys. A+. Any hoodle. The more that I looked into it, though, there is a large group of people that are like, Mike is a victim here as well. Like, yes, he did try to get Frost murdered, but he is also a victim. There's actually a book, if you want to read it, by Steve Simons. It's called The Lost Dream, the story of Mike Danton, David Frost, and a broken Canadian family, where he reads this guy to filth.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure
Did they participate in the book?
So David Frost gave a quote.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Mike's parents, well, I believe his mom has passed, but his dad gave his share of the story. His dad mainly talked with the New York Times.
Period.
And that article also read them to filth.
Picture this. We've got some Netflix show playing in the background. I'm reading a book. She is sitting here doing her notes for this episode, and all I hear is, oh yeah, get his ass, period.
I'll read you a quote. The more revealed, the more disturbing and heartbreaking. If only Frost's case was isolated. Basically being like, if only we didn't keep protecting sexual offenders in the NHL.
If only it wasn't a common occurrence.
If only. Ahead of their time, honestly, because that was written in like 2008. Okay, so there's also another documentary by CBC called Rogue Agent that talks about David Frost and his controlling nature, and actually highlights a story where David Frost encouraged Mike to distance himself from his family, and where allegedly Frost and a group of his players, quote, abused Danton's younger brother. and had photo evidence.
Die.
Yeah. I won't go into detail on that.
Death by 1,000 cuts. Paper cuts.
Do you want me to tell you?
I don't want details.
That's fair.
No, I've been traumatized enough in my job.
I
don't
wish
need
I didn't have to read it, you know? Yeah. So, what is this? Oh, yes. The New York Times article is titled Differentiating Between Coach and Predator. Period. Yeah, that's where you really get Steve Jefferson's input on it and about how he's like, yeah, I was confused by parental fantasy that his son would be able to live out his dreams, and how Frost kind of low-key manipulated him as well
I'm sure,
to make him feel safe. And it was just a bad thing. He said Stu is what was about to come out of my mouth.
I don't know, you'll hear it when you edit. You go, what's that? Oh yes.
I was like literally.
Do you want to take a sip of your coffee?
No, I want to stop shaking. Maybe the sugar will help. I don't freaking know. I think
I'm
just
you've
cold.
Eaten today?
Yeah, I've eaten today.
Well, you don't have on your warm socks.
I know. Maybe that's it. Okay, Steve and Sue, those are Mike's parents, have also said that Frost wielded a growing influence over Mike when he recruited him. And as time passed, his influence went beyond the business of hockey. It also broke my heart to see that Steve's dad was like, did I let my guard down? Damn right I did. And then like, I still love the game, but if I had known I was going to meet David Frost, I would have never put either of my boys in the sport. It's hard, but I'm also like, weren't you an alcoholic?
I mean, he could have been, but just because you have difficult times doesn't mean that it's not a lifestyle, Brian.
It's not a lifestyle.
Some people actually get better.
Yeah. And it's still hard to like...
Hindsight's 20/20.
Hindsight is 20/20. The Times also calls out David Frost was accused of mind control prior to the Jeffersons at all by junior hockey officials. Yeah, Steve...
They tried to stop him.
Not hard enough.
What else? They banned him.
This was before, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, before even the Jeffersons really got involved. He was accused by junior hockey officials of mind control over his players.
What is, like, how? Like, all I can picture is, like, like, moving objects. I'm like, how would he mind control?
Manipulating is just another word for it.
Yeah, I mean, I like that one better, but I'm also...
You've also got to keep in mind, you are very, very strong-willed, and you have been your entire life, and nobody is ever going to tell you what to do.
I can think of a couple men who could. I guess in my head, what I'm picturing is like he's
just manipulating
like
them.
Signals, like what a pitcher does, or the
no,
catcher.
He's just manipulating these kids, and they're still very fragile and young, and they don't know any better, and so then they become reliant on him and just do whatever he says because they think that's their shot to get to the NHL.
He's brainwashing these hoes.
Yeah.
And by hoes, I mean
manipulating, kids. Brainwash, mind control, all same.
Let's kill him.
Don't talk about it. Let's be about it. Hey, you know what? I actually have thought about how I'd murder someone because I'm pretty sure last night I said we need to cut off his dick and just shove it down his throat until he aspirates on it.
I just feel like if you watch anything true crime related, or if that's your hobby at all, you have definitely thought about how you would kill someone.
That's fair, maybe.
Like, I'm not a sociopath, but I've definitely given it some thought.
I just know that, like, I wouldn't do well with that guilt.
No, you wouldn't.
So I just can't.
That's fine.
But also, like, any crime, I would do horribly in prison. So I just have to live a legal life. It's unfortunate.
I love that for you.
Thanks.
I'm hoping that I won't have to find out how I do in prison.
My biggest fear is that I'll get framed for something. Like, I don't know how I would do. They'd be like, but how are you? And it's a bit, I didn't do it. I don't know what you want me to, I just cry all the time.
That's fair.
Yeah. Okay, back to the story.
That is what you would do.
Steve Simon's book states, a man nursing one of the more appalling inferiority complexes, Frost drew young people to his sideshow act by separating them from their support systems. Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. They isolate and control.
Absolutely.
It's much easier to isolate. It's much easier to control if isolated.
Yeah. And once Frost was barred from junior hockey in Canada, he became an NHL player agent being endorsed by Bob Goodnow. We'll read out your crimes. The former executive director of the Players Union who endorsed him despite all of these accusations. And at this point, he had pleaded guilty to assaulting a 21-year-old player on his team.
More like Bob bad now.
Yeah.
More like Bob get the fuck out of here now.
And like a very, very eerie phone call that was taped by CBC between Mike and Frost when Mike was in prison was like, they were just discussing or whatever, and then they were hanging up the phone, and Frost was like, okay, do you love me?
No.
And Mike said yes, and Frost said he demanded that he say it. And so Mike just said like, oh, I love you. It's so
fucking
weird.
creep.
It's so weird. Also a quote from the New York Times article, to recognize the danger is to help foil the creep.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dude, they got bars in this
they
article.
do got bars. Not the kind of bars that I wish that this guy was behind, but they got bars nonetheless. The Denver Post released an article stating that Mike Jefferson, or Danton, however you choose to refer to him, in his murder for hire trial, his lawyer didn't even have a degree. Never graduated law school. Do you want to guess who hired him? David Frost.
I was about to say, what public defender did they get?
No, David Frost found him.
Found, definitely. Hired, no.
Yeah. And what is this?
Like, how would that not trigger him to be retried after that was found out?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I truly think that Frost wanted him in jail, though.
Because you could definitely make an appeal for inadequate counsel.
Well, you're telling me that Frost, with all these connections, can't find a lawyer that's actually got a degree? He found one that doesn't have a degree?
He's a little cockroach. He can worm his way into anything.
That's
how
what
he
I'm
keeps
saying.
worming his way into hockey.
I think Frost wanted him in jail. I think truly, and this is pure speculation, I think David Frost was the intended target.
Yeah.
And it scared him. And so he just put him away in jail.
Yeah. Like how you punish your kid.
Yeah. In September of 2009, Mike was up for parole. Some of the conditions of his parole included no contact with his father, who the court was like, oh, he tried to kill him maybe, and no face-to-face meetings with David Frost.
That's fine. They'll just talk over phone.
Yeah. Also, you know the famous Wes McCauley, the 10 minutes each for fighting.
Yes.
That guy. So David Frost is married to his sister.
That's unfortunate. That is hella unfortunate. I actually hate that. And is she okay? She can't be.
Right. That's what I would think too.
Wes, go get your sis.
And he was working. Everybody found out that that's an alias he was using because he was working at a hockey camp, a junior hockey camp in the U.S.
Perfect.
Under the alias Jim McCauley.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Isn't that super fun? He looks like a creep. Do you want to see him?
Ew. Little no-neck bitch.
Little no-neck bitch. Update, he is even more of a creep. Confirmed now.
Did he have a full head of hair? Let me see that picture again.
Yeah. Kind of. It looks kind of like a comb over.
I see that massive fucking forehead.
I see that bald spot.
Yuck.
Bitch.
Can you imagine being attracted to that? Ugh.
Yeah. Another thing that most articles leave out is around the time that Mike was put in prison for, trying to...
Also, that shirt made him look washed out. Yuck. Lame. Can't style yourself. Call yourself an adult. Fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. So, what a lot of articles leave out is around the time that Mike went to jail for, attempting to have him killed, Ontario Provincial Police started investigating David Frost. Mm-hmm. In 2007, David Frost was then charged with 6 counts of sexual exploitation of minors during his time with the Quint Hawks.
Well, who could have seen that coming?
Not me. This is news to me. That's actually the same team he was on when he pleaded guilty to punching one of the players in the face. 2 girlfriends of players on that team at the time who lived in an apartment with David Frost.
Why, how, and who allowed that?
4 people in a 2-bedroom apartment.
What were those sleeping arrangements? Don't tell me, I already have my suspicions.
Yeah. 2 girlfriends of those players contacted the police regarding their experiences in that apartment.
Oh, God.
I will not go into too much detail because, quite frankly, it is fucking horrendous. And I will attach these 2 articles. One is by Laura Robinson, and the other is actually an ESPN article by Garrett Joyce depicting their testimonies in the trial.
Can you just hit the highlights?
Yeah, I'll hit the highlights. But I will also point out the 6 counts of sexual exploitation only regarded the players. The girls were not involved in the case other than their testimonies, which is kind of sad. But whatever. In short, a young woman details a time where her boyfriend was playing and living with David Frost, and the 2 of them wanted to do the deed, and how she had a conversation with Frost where he basically was like, if you want to have sex, you have to do it with me as well.
My God.
Yeah.
Not even that Oompa Loompa.
Even the Crown noted that, because some of the players did testify. David, of course, had other players from his teams come in and testify on his behalf. And the Crown noted that these players testifying were protecting him for some reason. Like that they weren't telling the full truth. Yeah. Regardless, Judge Jeff Griffin, fuck you, acquitted David Frost in November of 2008.
Why? How?
Because it wasn't beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't know how you could have listened to the testimonies that I read, and I didn't even read all of them, and not believe it beyond a reasonable doubt. But
because girls are just, they're impressionable, and they didn't really understand what they were talking about, and they probably, they just had something against him. Just sometimes these girls, they just don't understand men. They just don't get it.
An ESPN article discussing the verdict said it was a troubling story, but the case just wasn't built well. And Judge Jeff Griffin, said, exposed a dark and very unhealthy side of hockey that is extremely offensive and must be denounced. But you let that guy go. So I don't really give a fuck what you have to say.
So you're not denouncing
if you let
anything.
him go.
You're releasing him to the wild to do it to more people.
Because he did
He's
go
a
work.
predator. It's 6 people. That's a pattern.
And he did go work for another junior hockey camp.
God, this shit pisses me off.
Yeah.
I hope he has BPH and all he wants to do is fully empty his bladder, but he can't because his prostate is so freaking big, and all he does all the time is feel like he needs to pee, but when he goes to pee, all he gets is a little dribble because that's what you deserve, and you're also not a candidate for surgery, and none of the meds work. That's what I hope for you, Judge.
Yeah.
Happy holidays.
And that's that story, unfortunately. Do you want a lighter one?
Yeah.
Yeah. This one... Dang, that did take a long time. It's okay. These next 2 are short ones. This one I've titled Dead Man Skating. This is probably a common story. I just had never heard of it. And no, but Tom Danks hasn't said anything about it to us. So I'm like, oh, so nobody knows it because he knows everything.
Tom Danks does let us in on the most wild stuff.
Something a little bit ago that was like, oh, y'all need to talk about this. I need to read it and write it down. I think it was Slapshot, which is on my list of stuff we need to talk about, actually.
Okay.
Anywho, Jamie Rivers. Dang, this is a St. Louis Blues episode.
A theme emerges.
Jamie Rivers was drafted in 1993 to the St. Louis Blues. Over 5 seasons with the Blues, he played 183 games, and he also got traded around quite a bit, playing a total of 270 games with like the Islanders, Senators, Bruins, Panthers, Coyotes, all the things. Post-playing career, he was actually a color commentator for the St. Louis Blues.
I love that.
Yeah. I don't think he still holds that position, but I know he did for a long time. But while he was still playing, he was nearing the end of his career, and he knew he wasn't going to get a steady position in the NHL. And he didn't want a 2-way contract because he didn't want to be moving around a lot.
Fair.
Yeah. So he took a offer from a previous coach of the Blues to play on his team in Croatia. Yeah. His kids and his wife did stay back in the States because his kids were young and in school.
That's wild.
And this was just a short period of time. But at the time that this game takes place, his wife and kids were actually visiting him in Croatia. Mm-hmm. He had a game. They went to the game. It was their last night. And he says that he told his centerman in one of the games, he was like, let your guy go. I'm going to absolutely cream him.
Okay.
And boy, did he. He actually knocked the guy out cold.
I'm finna rock your shit.
He knocked the guy out cold, Lauren.
Oh.
And Jamie Rivers does admit it was a dirty hit that would have and should have got him suspended if it wasn't for...
This is Croatia, babes.
Yeah. However, the hit actually caused Jamie's spleen to burst.
That's not good at all.
Yeah, he had no clue, so he continued to play the rest of the game.
You should have signs of that.
I literally wrote, sometimes you crank that Soldier Boy and it cranks you back 10 times harder.
Oh my god.
I didn't even think it was that funny, but your reaction...
To come out of your mouth, sometimes you crank that Soldier Boy, and sometimes that Soldier Boy cranks you. Diabolical.
Especially because of what's about to come.
Also, the spleen, as long as you get it out without too much internal bleeding, then like you're fine. You're gonna get a bunch of shots to build up your immunizations because congratulations, you're essentially a newborn. But
you also got to keep in mind, Jamie Rivers didn't know.
People die.
He didn't know that his spleen had ruptured or burst. So he got on the team bus and he pretty much just fell asleep,
an eternal sleep,
which caused some red flags to some of his teammates because he was always just like hyped up. Like he never slept on the bus. He always like wanted to go out and whatever, but he fell asleep on the bus and went home. His family was traveling back to St. Louis the next day. So they woke up early, packed up all their bags. He dropped them off at the airport, went home. Your face. Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir. There's several things that you should be feeling, and you are about to enter into a shock.
Well, he said, look, I've played hockey, but I've never been in that much pain.
That's a sign, dumbass. Go to the hospital.
This was after he had woken up from a nap. One of his neighbors and teammates came over and basically said, whoa, you look like you're dying.
You're about to go into hypovolemic shock, you dumbass.
And Jamie
Not
made
hypovolemic, hemorrhagic maybe. Well, it depends.
Well, Jamie was like, joking, I feel like I'm dying. And talking about how bad he felt, but he didn't want to go to the hospitals because he didn't know what it was like in Croatia, and he didn't know what to do. Anyways,
you're about to find out what it's like to live in a cemetery for the rest of your dumbass existence.
It got to a point where he finally was like, fine, let's just go to the hospital. He talks about waiting hours until a doctor that spoke English finally came in and just said, we need to cut you open.
The thing is, you could have done that last night.
He didn't know, Lauren.
Yes, he did. He just didn't want to go to the hospital.
He said, why do you need to cut me open? What's wrong with me? And they were like, well, that's why we need to cut you open. There's too much fluid. We can't see what's going on. So he called his wife to let her know what was going on. They put him under.
You're getting X-lapped, my boy.
They put him under. In a Slapshot Diaries, like basically journal entry about this from him. He said, it was 36 hours before my wife heard anything. She was freaking out, trying to call anybody on the team, emailing people, which fair.
Yeah.
The doctor took it upon himself to call her, which, as much help as he was trying to do, probably poured a ton of gasoline on the fire by trying to explain. She thought that I was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You almost were.
Well, the next thing he knows, he's waking up on a steel table, butt naked in the corner of a room.
Okay.
Did you raise your hand?
So I did raise my hand, but that was to explain what an X-lap is. It's where they cut your entire abdomen open, peel back all the muscles and everything, and root to it around with your organs to see what's going on. Then they just staple it back up. It'll heal in a couple weeks.
So he wakes up on a steel table, butt naked in the corner of a room.
That's how I like to start my days too.
He tries to sit up, but obviously he's in pain. He groans, and it triggers the attention of the 10 other people in the room who look at him and start freaking the fuck out.
He's in the morgue, isn't he? Dude, I've actually had that happen. I've had someone be in the morgue and then they got a heartbeat back. I shit you not. That's a story for another day.
What?
I've had that happen.
That's insane. But also doesn't surprise me.
It was actually just a pacemaker that just would not turn off. Like, yes, they were dead, but they were in the morgue. And then we got a call and they were like, your patient has a heartbeat. And we were like, what? And it just ended up being, and the morgue is in the creepiest part of the hospital possible.
That tracks. It's the morgue. I don't think it's
It was just because some dumbasses didn't bring the magnet to turn off the pacemaker, which like really doesn't make a lot of sense because I'm not super sure how they declared time of death already because you have, anyways, yeah, that's happened to me before.
That's crazy. Well, yeah, everybody's freaking out.
Fair.
At this time, he had no idea what had happened during his operation. He just assumed that was how they handled procedures in Croatia. And he spent 2-ish weeks recovering in the hospital. This is so you, because during his recovery, he said there was no TV or internet in the hospital, so he bought 100 yards of internet cable, and the nurses ran it through the hospital so he could Skype and talk to his family.
That's so sweet, and I would absolutely do that for someone.
Yeah. So they also told him, once you're walking, you can leave and go home, which he took literally. And so he got up and started walking down the hallway to leave. Of course, nurses were like, where are you going? Get back in bed. Are you...
Gotta get every drop of that goodness.
No drop left behind. Careful, there's another drop in there. Do you want
I'll probably lick the lid later. Don't worry about it. Dude, 7 Brew is so good.
It is.
Has he never been in a hospital or seen a hospital before? You don't just get to freaking leave. You have to sign papers.
Yeah, so he went back to his bed. 10 days later, he tried to make a comeback to his hockey game, of course. Oh my God. He's walking in, and the trainers are freaking out as well because they're like, you need to go back to the hospital. To which he actually did go back to the hospital to have a conversation with the doctor. He did not know. This whole time, he didn't know what actually happened. He just... I was like, I'm recovering, whatever. Turns out his spleen had burst, information he still didn't know until now. He had been bleeding internally for 24 hours before the operation, and the doctor told him it looked like a bomb had gone off inside of him.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks
like. When they were doing surgery, he lost so much blood. He flatlined for over 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. They tried defibrillating him and couldn't get a pulse, so they called time of death on him. And then the doctor...
They gave it pretty easy, eh?
Yeah, and then the doctor passes him his death certificate.
Hell yeah, I would frame that.
He said, I sat there kind of giggling because in my mind, that wasn't real.
Also, it's defibrillate. But also, you don't defibrillate a dead person. You can't shock what doesn't exist.
They hadn't...
So they had to have gotten a pulse back at some point. Anyways, this doesn't matter.
Okie dokie. Anyways, so he had died.
Yeah.
And they thought he was dead. Everybody in the hospital thought he was dead. And so when he came to, they were all like, you're dead.
No self-preservation there. None.
Yeah. That whole situation did cause him to retire, kind of against his will, because he still wanted to play, but teams wouldn't sign him because they didn't want the insurance of it all, like the health. They didn't want to risk it.
He just got his spleen taken out. That's it.
Yeah, but from a business...
It sounds like he was going to have to retire anyway, so that's fine.
Yeah. In an interview retelling the story, he was asked if he remembered anything about the afterlife, and I respect it because he said, I wish I could make up a great story because who's going to call me on that? But no, he didn't. And he did look into if he could collect his life insurance.
Ooh, smart.
But he saw that there's a clause that the deceased must stay dead.
Yep.
I was just like, wow, that's so freaking funny. Can you imagine?
So funny.
Oh, you're dead. Can you imagine, like, you're cleaning up after a surgery and the guy just sits up?
I've had several patients that we call time of death on and then they get a heartbeat back. Yeah. So yes, I can, but I'm not the right audience to ask that question to.
I'm an accountant. I couldn't.
It'd be like that, you know?
And then I have another quick one to just round it off because I know you like threes.
I do love
the
threes.
third story. This is just a little lighthearted, giggly one. I
don't know. You said that one was lighthearted and someone died.
His heart was very light when he wasn't breathing, when it wasn't beating anymore.
Pour one out for Jamie. Not me though, because I'm not skipping a drop. Not unless I'm waterfalling it into my own mouth.
Pour one out. Okay. This one is called The Time the Stanley Cup Went Missing.
Oh. Was it the Panthers?
No. So one thing to keep in mind from this story, the Montreal Canadiens had just won 5 Stanley Cups in a row. It was the 60s. They had just won 5 Stanley Cups in a row until their streak was broken in 1961 by the Chicago Blackhawks, who beat them in the finals 4-2 for the cup win.
Which is fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
Who cares?
The 61-62 season, Montreal was the number 1 team in the league again. And the fuck did I say here? Let me just
they were number 1 in the league.
Let me just read you this. The 1961-62 season, period, sentence, that's it. Montreal was the number 1 team in the regular season. Yet again, and by a large margin to the Maple Leafs in second. Who was third? Because I know you like your threes. The Chicago Blackhawks.
Thank you so much.
That first part was just so confusing to read.
Yeah, it's not grammatically excellent, but that's okay.
And this is back when there were only 2 series in playoffs because there weren't that many teams. So the Blackhawks and Canadiens actually faced each other in round 1 of the playoffs.
That was heated.
This go around. Montreal won games 1 and 2 at home. This was game 3 in Chicago. The first game there, and the cup was on display because they had won it the previous season. They said, I got a trophy.
Mine's bigger than yours.
Oh, except they're the most successful team in the NHL, but that's fine. Here's who you need to know. Ken Callander, a big Montreal fan who had a habit of following the Canadiens on their road trips.
Get a job.
It even went a little too far because he attempted to work out in the same gym, and he paid for his travels by playing pianos in the hotels that they were staying in.
Never mind, he does have a job. He's a hustler.
You know,
it's creepy, but I bet he's allowed to call them by their nicknames.
Yeah. Look at the camera. I love when we both just look at the camera. I love when I'm editing and I say something wrong and we both just go. He did have a good reputation with the press that followed along as well. Like, they all knew him. They were all like, oh, it's Ken.
Yeah, he's their stalker. Of course they do.
That's fair. Well, this was mainly, like, staff and journalists. I don't really know how players felt about him, come to think of it. As long as he just kept it to their government names, he was probably fine. April 1st.
That was so funny, Abby.
Thanks. April 1st, 1962, a.k.a. April Fool's Day, also. Prior to the game, this was game 3. Prior to the game, Ken was talking to some reporters in the hotel, and he said something along the lines of, like, the cup belongs in Montreal and only Montreal. And he goes, what would you do if I went and got the cup and gave it to the Canadiens? Kind of poking fun. And the reporters laughed and were like, oh, we'll take your picture, we'll write a story and put it in the paper.
Oh my God. Those intrusive thoughts. He's really going to let him win, eh?
At the game, with the cup on display, Ken noticed prior to the game that the cup was only really protected with a small little lock that could be easily broken.
Well, I guess they don't have really tight security in this era either.
Yeah, so just 2 minutes into the third period with Chicago up 4-0.
God.
He got up and went down to the lobby. This is a quote from an article that I'll cite in this by Third String Goalie, which is a freaking funny name as well. Mm-hmm. Accounts differ as to whether he smashed the glass of the case, simply opened the case, that's not a complete sentence, or simply opened the case. The caption of the United Press International photo states that Callander was able to pick the lock of the display case. Mm-hmm. The truth lies somewhere in the middle, as finding himself nearly alone with the trophy, he just pushed the glass door open and took it.
So no one else is in the lobby seeing this?
Well, there was one guy.
That trophy is massive.
There was a couple guys. Ken told reporters, I couldn't resist reaching in and taking the cup into my arms.
That's fair, and I would do the same.
That's also so 60s.
If you're going to commit a crime, you might as well just, like, fully commit it, you know?
Yeah, he then made a mad dash for the exit. Still holding the cup, and Sergeant Jerry Cortopassi, can't find a pronunciation on that name from a police officer from the 60s, but hey, I feel like that was pretty good. Quote, had little trouble identifying the culprit in possession of the 4-foot-tall, 25-pound silver trophy.
That's what I'm saying.
Stands out.
I would bench press that thing every day.
Yeah. Apparently, he stopped Ken, and Ken was like, what are you doing? And Ken was like, oh, I'm taking it back to Montreal. And the cop responded, only if you're Rocket Richard and I'm the Tooth Fairy.
Dude, Ken had one too many brewskis.
Yeah. Well, Ken then was like, hey, I've got a $400 bet. I just need to take it to the hotel and take a picture. I'll give you $250 out of it.
Oh, over half.
Right?
A generous lover.
Thought. But Sergeant Jerry Cortopassi did not take him up on the offer.
Why not? I would have.
I kind of would have too. Also, the Blackhawks didn't choose to press charges. It
kind of baller of them.
Yeah, it seemed kind of lighthearted. He didn't make it out of the arena with it.
I mean, he really had good intentions. It was a bit of a laugh.
It's
tongue in cheek.
He could have been fined $8,000, but
that's not much.
They didn't press charges. The court did fine him $10 and the court costs of the day. And it made him promise he wouldn't steal the cup again. The judge also told him his intentions were not to steal the cup, but to take it to Chicago hotel room where he would be photographed and interviewed by journalists of Montreal.
That's a very main character of him.
Right. The judge told him he can go back to the game the next day.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, but the cup stays here unless the Blackhawks lose, which I very much doubt they will.
And did they?
So the Blackhawks ended up winning that game. Mm-hmm. The night the cup was stolen and the following night, they beat Montreal 4 games in a row to win the series and go to the cup finals. However, they lost to the Leafs 4-2.
Good.
And started a streak for the Maple Leafs, who would win 3 in a row?
Probably.
Yeah.
Could be.
I just said the Leafs would win cups in a row, but I'm pretty sure they won.
Cups, plural.
I'm pretty sure they won 62, 63, 64, and 67.
I don't know any different, so
I'm picturing
sure.
my notes in my head, and I'm pretty sure that's right. And now I need to check.
Okay.
Where is it? I said 62, 63, 64, and 67, right?
I don't know. You started saying numbers, and I started disassociating.
62, 63, 64, and 67.
God, it's almost like you're the researcher.
I can't believe I got that, actually.
I can.
I saw it in my head. I saw this in my head.
I know that feeling.
You know? Any hoodle.
That was fun, kinda.
Yeah,
the first story, is David Frost still alive? Mm-hmm. Wes, go get your sister. I'm gonna stand 10 toes deep with you on that one too.
Yeah.
Let's go get her.
I'll actually testify on your trial. Your Honor, he deserved it.
I mean, I wasn't gonna do a crime. I was just gonna separate them and just have them divorce and have her go to therapy for a long time. Because how are you standing with that man? Yuck.
I cannot imagine standing with a man like that.
Did she? Is she still with him?
I think so. Because I think he still uses that alias.
Well, that's an Australian theologian, so that's definitely not him.
David Frost.
Let me try adding hockey on the end of it.
Yeah,
and see
I think
if
there's a couple other David Frosts.
Yeah, I know those beady little fuck ass eyes.
Yeah.
It looks like he's divorced.
Good.
I think he had 2. This probably isn't right. No, that's an old man. Motherfucker. He's so irrelevant that even the internet doesn't know. Mm-hmm. Fucking loser. I don't know. The internet doesn't know because it, like the rest of us, doesn't care about him.
Yeah.
And that's really all I have to say about that. Yeah. We're going to go to Vancouver. Everyone pray that the only Canuck that I care about is playing, because I'm going to be big sad if he's not.
He called Tom Fitzgerald. Okay, first of all, he did an interview and they were like, what are you thinking about all these rumors of you getting traded to the Devils? Are you in talks?
I did see that.
And did you catch that he called Tom Fitzgerald, the general manager for the Devils, Fitzy?
Yes, but like both of his brothers play for them, and Luke just had a contract
That's
this
actually
whole
such
summer,
that's a
and they're a
valid
tight family, so I don't really equate that with him having a contract. However, them only being 11 games of a that's not sense. Them only winning 11 games, I think they're 11 and 13 right now. I've seen him crash out. I've actually seen him crash out on Elias Pettersson this week.
I did see
at a
that
game.
too.
And all I'm saying is, hey, he's going through a rough time. Hey, ask yourself, is this the right time to do that? Or can I just disassociate a little bit longer and deal with it later at a more convenient time for him emotionally? You know, just like thoughtful things like that.
Well, next episode's going to be our Christmas episode. It's probably going to be a short one.
Yeah, you're right. Well, you told me if I'm clearing my throat to lean away, so I lean it back. Pull the lever, Kronk. Okay, we've got to end this. We've got things to do.
Oh, I got to pack.
We'll see you next time. Unless we don't come back from Canada. It'll
Okay.
be fun. Okay, bye.
Bye.